You've probably heard whispers, caught fragments of things that don't quite fit. Maybe you brushed off the doubts, or maybe they've been growing quietly inside your mind. This video isn't here to tell you what to think. It's here to open a door. And once you step through it, the world you knew might start to shift. If you're ready to question everything, then you're in the right place. Let's take this journey together. On August 25, 1989, the Voyager 2 spacecraft made its closest approach to Neptune. It was the final planet in its grand tour. After traveling over 4 billion kilometers through the solar system, it transmitted thousands of images and data points, cloud structures, magnetic fields, moon trajectories. The mission was a success. At least, that's what the public was told. Buried in the unprocessed data logs, engineers at the Jet Propulsion Laboratory noticed something strange. At exactly 3:57 Universal Time Coordinated, Voyager 2's high-gain antenna received a narrowband signal, one it didn't send. It wasn't a malfunction. It was a reception. The signal lasted just over 11 seconds and repeated twice. It didn't match any known reflection, solar emission, or internal system pulse. It came from space, from somewhere near Neptune's shadowed limb. They labeled it Transmission 6, a harmless anomaly, pending analysis. Then it disappeared from the official logs. Weeks later, a junior technician leaked a segment of the data to an MIT professor specializing in radio wave encryption. After months of analysis, the professor confirmed something stunning. The signal contained structure, compression, deliberate noise cancellation, and when decoded using a logarithmic transform, it produced a visual pattern, not static, not random. A holographic projection, a star map. The disturbing part? It wasn't a map of our galaxy. It was a map of our solar system. Every planet precisely positioned. One glowing red circle marked Earth. But from the outer edge of the map, a faint dotted line traced back, not to Neptune, but beyond it, toward deep space. The professor, Dr. Evan Koriksek, was not known for exaggeration. He submitted the signal data and his findings to NASA, requesting peer review. The response was swift and absolute. Within 48 hours, his research grant was revoked, his access to government data servers cut, and all copies of the decoded signal were confiscated under the guise of national security. He disappeared 2 weeks later. Officially, a hiking accident in the White Mountains of New Hampshire. Unofficially, no body was recovered, but fragments of his work survived. Colleagues recalled Koriksek's final lecture notes, which mentioned a disturbing hypothesis that the signal wasn't meant for Voyager. It was a trigger, a kind of celestial tripwire. When Voyager crossed a specific point in space, just beyond Neptune's magnetotail, it activated something old, something waiting. It wasn't the first time, he believed. Ancient records, from Babylonian star charts to Renaissance astronomical anomalies, hinted at sudden disturbances in deep space that coincided with periods of unexplained human advancement or collapse. If Koriksek was right, then Transmission 6 wasn't a message to us. It was a confirmation that we had arrived. Years later, in 2007, an amateur radio astronomer in Brazil picked up a strange repeating signal from deep space. It cycled every 22 minutes and 31 seconds. Not strong enough for global attention, but it matched the carrier frequency of Voyager 2's downlink. The signal contained no words, just a slow, rising tone, then silence. And then, beneath the tone, an audio spectrogram revealed something chilling. A cluster of dots, a mirror of Koriksek's star map. Earth, marked again in red. By 2011, interest in the Voyager anomaly had quietly spread beyond government agencies. A private consortium of ex-SETI researchers, cryptologists, and astronomers formed an unofficial task group. They called themselves Locus Array, and their goal was simple: reconstruct the full contents of Transmission 6. They compiled signal logs from declassified NASA archives and radio intercepts and Soviet-era deep space listening posts. Patterns began to emerge. The signal wasn't just a map. It was layered, multi-band, and encoded with instructions, as if the transmission expected to be examined, unwrapped, understood, in stages. It began with mathematics, prime sequences, base, 12 structures, golden ratio spirals. Then geometry, specifically a rotating lattice of spheres representing orbital dynamics. But only one configuration remained stable, a tetrahedral alignment centered on Earth's orbit, occurring once every 12,600 years. Locus Array cross-referenced it with global myths, the Mayan long count, the Vedic Yugas, Plato's Great Year. All converged around a single epical cycle long dismissed as myth. But what if it wasn't? What if the signal was a timestamp? A message from a civilization that didn't communicate linearly, but cyclically? And if the pattern held true, the next alignment wasn't far off. According to the decoded model, Earth would once again pass through the tetrahedral alignment in late 2025. That's when the power disruptions began. Quiet at first. Clock drift. GPS sync errors. Deep-sea data cable static. Nothing significant, until they began happening only during precise windows tied to that ancient cycle. And always at the same time. 3:57 Universal Time Coordinated. Exactly when Voyager 2 crossed Neptune's shadow. In early 2024, a series of unexplained blackouts and system anomalies caught the attention of intelligence agencies worldwide. Power grids faltered. Satellites lost alignment. Air traffic control experienced momentary data blackouts. None lasted more than a few minutes, but the timing was precise, always near 3:57 Universal Time Coordinated. An international task force formed quietly under the guise of cybersecurity threats, but their true focus was something else entirely. They monitored a growing pattern of electromagnetic pulses, subtle but consistent, originating from the outer solar system. The source? A previously unregistered signal emanating near Neptune's orbit, matching the coordinates highlighted in the Transmission 6 star map. Attempts to locate a physical source failed. No spacecraft, no probe, no asteroid. Just a faint, repeating beacon, broadcasting a coded sequence that scientists described as unnatural in structure and frequency. Publicly, agencies dismissed it as solar weather or cosmic background noise. Privately, they feared it was an activation, the start of a process. A cosmic awakening triggered by humanity's reach into the outer solar system. What exactly was awakening? No one knew. But the pattern of disruption suggested it was already affecting Earth. A silent pulse stretching across the void. Waiting. By mid-2025, anomalies were impossible to ignore. Global positioning systems slipped by seconds. Magnetic field readings fluctuated unpredictably. Even biological rhythms, human circadian cycles, showed subtle shifts. Locus Array's final analysis suggested the signal was not just a map or a warning. It was a key, a directive for a cosmic event encoded by an unknown intelligence, one that had been waiting, hidden beyond Neptune's orbit, for humanity to arrive. Some speculate that Transmission 6 is an invitation, a protocol embedded in space and time, designed to be triggered when a civilization reaches a certain threshold of cosmic exploration. Others fear it is a test, a message that humanity has awakened something older than our solar system itself. As the 2025 alignment approaches, scientists watch the skies and monitor the signals. They wait for what comes next, because one thing is clear: the universe has already sent its message, and now humanity must decide how to answer.